Okay. So here's my next round of stories. Actually, like it's more than one story, and after we did the last photos and memories resolution where our friends could write in and tell us what they remembered about the stories, I was kicking myself for not doing these memories, so I will tell these stories right now. I'm sure a lot of you went through a phase after college where everybody was getting married. I know Ewan and I, like for 2 summers, probably when we were 25, 26, 27, we're going to like literally 15 weddings a year. Like it was insane every other weekend. And there was a particular probably year or so, 12-month period where not only were we going to these weddings, we were in them. More specifically, our Iowa State friends. There was a series of weddings. They were like every other month, and if we would have been smart about it, we would have bought the boys tuxes and would have saved probably like $1,000 because, you know, tux rental and whatnot. So anyway, each one of these weddings had like a specific thing that I really, really remember, and most of them are probably not the things that these particular couples want people to remember, but that's how it works. So anyway, I'll start with Nate and Denise's wedding because theirs was first, and theirs was the wedding known as the one that everybody fought at. Everybody. And here's why. It was shortly after, like some people might have still been in college, so, you know, they didn't have everybody's addresses for invites, so a couple invites went out to like the fraternity house and to this other house where a bunch of people lived, and then it was just kind of like, oh yeah, it's for all these people though, even though there's only one invitation. So, you know, dudes, they're terrible about stuff, and there were supposed to be directions for us left at this house. So we're supposed to go to this house and pick up these directions. We went, and there were like these chicken scratches on paper. So we're like, oh, well, how big can Storm Lake be? We'll just go there. And we went, and we missed the wedding, as did very, very many people, actually, because the actual wedding was in some other small town. And so just imagine, you know, when you're lost and, you know, you're driving with somebody else and it's not going well and you're not finding anything, you're just getting mad at each other and you're nitpicking, and then, you know, 72 drinks later, everyone's fighting. So that's the big... Oh, and then actually Eric and I stayed in like a really shady motel, like one of those where you drive up and park in front of the door. And of course we got in a fight. And one of us stormed out of the hotel room and the other one followed, and then we realized, oh, we don't have a key. And we were locked out, and it was like, you know, 2 o'clock in the morning. And being that it was a shady hotel, like, the guy who ran it lived on the premises. So, yeah. Anyway, so we had to wake him up, and he let us back in. Next was Moose and Megan's wedding, which I've written about before. Theirs was the one where the rings got stuck, like, inside the best man's jacket. And the other memorable thing about their wedding is that the hotel was across from kind of this kind of trashy college dance bar. While I was in college, I actually won a trike race where you rode a trike around and did shots. That's the kind of place this was at. That really is one of my most proud moments. But anyway, so this is where we went. It's the kind of place you don't want to see during the day. And Megan had just this gorgeous dress. She was such a beautiful bride, and she had this dress that just was amazing. And it was completely trashed. I mean, it was just, you know, probably like, I don't know, like probably a foot up on her dress. Is just caked in like mud and stale beer and general bar grossness. Then we had our friend Brad and Jen's wedding, where Ewan and I shared a hotel room with our friends Mindy and Cole, and we all woke up with bed bug bites all over our legs the day after the wedding. It was pretty awesome. And then finally, Mindy and Cole's wedding, which was the last one. Well, ours was in there too. I'll get back to that. Mindy and Cole's wedding was the last one, and the thing I remember most about that one is the rehearsal. And it was in Ames, so where Iowa State is, so you kind of get back into that whole college mentality. And I recall the next day, Megan and Jen and I being crazy hungover, falling asleep on one bed while watching TV before the wedding, and then not being able to drink anything at least until 9 o'clock that night. Yeah, so it was kind of a slow burn that day. Our funny wedding stories were that we had an old pastor. He was up there in age, but he had been Eric's confirmation pastor, so that's why he officiated our wedding. And he called Eric Erica at one point during our ceremony, and at another point he like Eric said his vows, like repeat after me and all this stuff, and then he started the vows over again for me to repeat back, but he was still looking at Eric, and so it was very confusing, and I didn't say anything because he wasn't looking at me, and so Eric was like la la la, and started repeating, and the pastor was like, oh no, silly, it's her turn, but he was totally looking at Eric, so it made a lot of sense that Eric started over again. And then the other thing was, at the time, Eric was living with a bunch of boys in a boy house. It was really gross. And I lived in Des Moines, and we didn't live together until like a month after we were married because our jobs were in different cities. But we had to go back to the boy house to get his stuff, the suitcase, for the honeymoon. And we got there, and there's just like dudes sleeping everywhere, all over this house. Everyone crashed there. We went around the corner, and all in one bed were 3 guys that were in the wedding, fully clothed. Like they had their jackets off, but like they still had on their ties and vests and everything from their tuxes. They're all, I mean, it wasn't even that big of a bed, like maybe a double. Like the 3 of them just laying there, and we woke them up. They're like, hey, what's up? And haha, we're all in bed together. And then they all rolled over and went back to sleep. And then we got to the airport and missed our flight, and then sat in O'Hare for 6 hours waiting for the next plane so we could leave on our honeymoon. So those are my news stories to tell. Lots of wedding fun. I'm sure many of you can relate to a lot of these. And I am going to do today's roll call for donations. Again, oh my God, you guys are so amazing. We're on our 3rd goal number, and it's been 4 days. So amazing. Thank you so much for helping us out with this. It's been a lot of fun, and it's like starting the blog all over again. We're like texting each other, oh my God, we got, $25 more or $10 more, or who's this person, and oh my God, this is so exciting. So thank you so much for that. And I'm like, Brie, I'm not organized, and I don't have a big yellow pad, so I left my little piece of paper in the other room, so I'm gonna have to pause for a second, and I'll be right back. Okay, back with my fat little notebook. Oh, and just as a little disclaimer, if you donated today, you will show up on our rundown tomorrow. So those names, or those amounts, I guess, won't be kind of like recorded until tomorrow. So Brie will be back tomorrow with a new roll call of people to thank. And so here goes for today's. Denise Miller, Kim Smith, Doug Waltonbaugh, more lovingly known around here as Ned Ryerson. Ned Ryerson. Jim Kelly, Jadine Benning, Christy Burkle of Mrs. Burkle's Art Class Week 2, Megan Ward Jones, Jen and Jeremy Schaefer, and Jen is an old friend of ours, and she too is a preeclampsia survivor, so yay Jen, and thank you. And finally, Denise, last name unknown, she is a reader of the blog and also has her own blog about the preeclampsia experience that she had. So thank you to Denise as well. Like I said, Brie will be back tomorrow. Everyone have a safe and happy New Year's Eve, and we'll see you in the new year. Bye.